Sports is always a part of this show, so I definitely got some stuff to mention, particularly about baseball. I believe doing something right and innovative, and it needs to be embraced and appreciated instead of excoriated. That's one point. Number two, Stephen A. Smith, your boy, yours truly, is going to actually have a segment here where I'm talking about OnlyFans. What the hell is going to come out of my mouth? You got to wait for it. But not before I get into black folks in the United States of America having a complaint about Donald Trump. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. I can't believe it. Black folks complaining about Donald Trump. I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it. I'm so surprised. I'm so surprised. What am I talking about? You're about to find out. Now on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Let's roll. Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do over the digital airwaves of YouTube and, of course, iHeartRadio. As always, I'd like to take a moment to thank and show my appreciation to my subscribers and followers. We've now eclipsed over 950,000 subscribers, rapidly approaching 1 million, and that's just on YouTube. And, of course, we've already achieved over a few million downloads over iHeartRadio over the last few months. So I can't thank y'all for the love and support enough. I wouldn't be here if you didn't want me here. Keep the love coming, and I'm going to keep on coming. To continue to like and follow the show, just click the bell and you too shall be the latest member of the Stephen A. Smith Show family, obviously being notified of all of our new content, so don't miss out on that. And also, while you're doing all of that, make sure to get a copy of my New York Times best-selling memoir, Straight Shooter, a memoir of second chances and first takes, now in paperback. Just go to straightshooterbook.com to get yourself a copy. Once again, that's straightshooterbook.com to get yourself a copy. I hear it's a wonderful, wonderful Christmas present for everybody out there. It's motivational, it's inspirational. Make sure you can feed off of that and do what it can for you. I really, really worked hard on it, so appreciate it. It's an audio book as well, so make sure you check that out. Let's get started. I got a few things to get into today in the world of sports and beyond, but I'm not going to start off there. And by the way, I got something to say about the latest in the whole Drake, Kendrick Lamar brouhaha. I got some stuff to say about that as well, and I'll get to that a little bit later. But first up on the docket, we're going to get started in the world of President-elect Donald Trump, where ABC News is reporting black conservatives are feeling left out based on appointments and nominations for his upcoming term. Last month, Trump appointed Scott Turner, who was executive director of the White House Opportunity and Revitalization Council during Trump's first term, to serve as secretary of the Department of Housing and Urban Development. One area of frustration for many black Republicans was speculation that if Trump did nominate an African American to his administration, it would be at HUD, the department that has had the most black secretary appointments of any. At the time of this taping, 53 Trump nominees have been reported. One is black. That's it. And a total of 5 are people of color. A couple of things I wanted to bring up. I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all. Trump proclaims to be cool with the brothers and the fellas and what have you. And, but when it's time to appoint people to positions of power, folks are choosing folks they're accustomed to, who look like them, share their cultural identity, things of that nature. You're expecting me to be overly critical of Trump about this. I'm not. The fact of the matter is that folks lost the right to complain. Folks lost the right to complain, even the black conservatives. Because if you're a black conservative, now remember, we're not talking about truth for a second. We're talking perception. If you are a black conservative, and you heard about Project 2025, and you're looking at the Supreme Court and folks who've been placed on the Supreme Court and some of the decisions that they have made against things like affirmative action at institutions of higher learning and, of course, Roe v. Wade and other things. If you want to point to all of these things, you kind of knew this stuff was coming. See, in the end, at some point in time, we got to grow up and recognize the fact that Donald Trump, as much as folks want to accuse him of being a pathological liar, there are some things he was flat out open and honest about. That's what he's going. That is about him doing what he wants to do, when he wants to do, for whomever he wants to do it to, and everybody else be damned. And that is what is taking place right now. Now, if you're a black conservative like a Tim Scott, You're a black conservative like a Byron Donald. You're a black conservative like the Larry Elders of the world or various others. I can get where you're coming from, but I haven't heard anything from them, and there's a reason you haven't heard anything from them. Number one, Byron Donald's probably not interested in such a position. He's a representative out of the state of Florida. Cool brother, by the way. I got a problem with him being a Cowboys fan, but that's a different subject for another day. But, I mean, the brother, you know, he's a representative for Florida. He's got his sights set on one of two positions, from what I'm told. Marco Rubio is going to be the Secretary of State, longtime senator out of Florida, former presidential candidate running against Trump in 2016. He's now going to be the Secretary of State under the Trump administration. So Byron Donald is either interested in filling his seat, or, from what I'm being told, he might want to run for governor of Florida. And I got news for you. He'll have a good chance. He'll have a damn good chance at either position, personally. If you're thinking about Ben Carson, it's just me. But I don't want somebody serving the United States citizen that looks sleepy all the damn time. That's just me. That's just me. I'm not knocking him. But I mean, the man is a brilliant surgeon. His reputation speaks for itself in terms of his ability as a doctor and in the world of medicine. I get that, but damn it, he looks sleepy all the time. He makes me nervous. He makes me nervous because he looks like he's asleep most of the time. Larry Elder is another name. Former gubernatorial candidate out of California. Former presidential candidate, didn't have much of a chance, but smart, renowned radio host for many, many years, relatively polarizing figure. He can take the heat, very intelligent, very capable. I'm not making these recommendations. I'm simply pointing out that if you're Donald Trump, there's certainly people from the African-American community that you could have looked towards to include in your cabinet. So why are you not doing it? That's a question for Donald Trump to answer. That's a question for folks in his administration to answer. And if you are a black conservative, you definitely have the right to ask him that question. You definitely have the right to ask him, what about us? No, he didn't win the popular vote amongst the African-American community, but he damn sure inched into some of those numbers. Kamala Harris didn't beat him as decisively amongst the black vote the way Biden did and the way Hillary Rodham Clinton did. So I would take heed to that. I would pay attention to that. And it would be a legitimate reason to ask ourselves those questions. If it's an indication, and dare I say, something that foments fear within the African-American community about what's in store for us, I say look at it a different way. See, everybody want to get in Donald Trump's way. I don't want to do that. The American people have spoken. He's won decisively, okay? You know what I say? Let him have his people. Let him have whatever he wants. Go ahead and govern. That way you have no excuses when things go awry. You can't say the Dems were in your way. You got the Senate, you got the House, you got the White House, you got the Supreme Court. What's up? You can't sit up there and blame anybody else if the economy falters, if inflation ultimately ravages our society, if things aren't handled at the border, if the streets of America are still riddled with crime. You can't sit up there and blame anybody else when you got everything you want and need in order to run a government the way you think a government should be run. You talk about the swamp that exists in the nation's capital, the cesspool that's been alive and ravaging through our country over all of these years. You got an opportunity to clean it up. Can't blame anybody. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't forever. So if he does the job, all right, fine. If he doesn't do the job, you can change course in 2 years. It's a midterm election. In 4 years, there's another presidential election. Let's not go for the gloom and doom, and the world is coming to an end because the man that a lot of people didn't want in office is in office. Let me get back to the issue, however, of black conservatives. And I've touched on this subject on many, many occasions, and I'm going to touch on it now, but never before have I touched on this subject the way that I'm going to right now. There's a lot of times it could be a Candace Owens. It could be a Larry Elder. To a lesser degree, it could be a Byron Donald. I remember Armstrong Williams. He's been out there for many, many years. I've known him for many, many years. Even to a lesser degree, somebody like Sage Steele, who used to work at ESPN and now, helped the Trump campaign. And who knows, for all we know, I don't think she's interested in it, but who knows? She might end up being press secretary one day. I don't know. Whatever it is, I hope she does well. I wish her well. Sage and I got along. Let me say this. Over the years, we've seen a level of vitriol emanating from black conservatives to a point where people who are not conservative vilified them because of it. I was never down with that. I'm a registered independent who primarily votes Democrat. There have been several occasions I've been tempted to vote Republican, to vote conservative. Hell, some of the times I regretted I didn't. And who knows what the future holds with me with some of the nonsense that I saw from the left, particularly leading up to this election with woke and cancel culture and all of that stuff. But that's a different story for another day. Here's the point that I want to make. While finding myself wishing that the inordinate amount of black conservatives that have been out there and are still out there would sort of dial back their vitriolic responses to the venom that's been thrown in their direction, I've rarely blamed them. Because you got people in here looking at folks from the conservative side who happen to be black, calling them sellouts and coons and all of these kind of negative connotations, showing them no respect as human beings just because you don't agree and side with their ideology. Who the hell are you? Listen, most of my friends are liberal. Some of them are conservatives. I have no problem with any of them. All I want to hear is what your point of view is and why. And if you make sense and it's fact-based and it's not dominated by emotion trying to usurp the facts, I'm good with you. Even if I don't agree with you, because I know your position is based on fact. And for folks outside of the conservative community to look at people who are black and excoriate them just because they're conservative, who the hell are you? Where are your facts? There's a lot of history that goes into stuff. You can see it one way or another, but it's undeniable that bipartisanship played the role. Civil rights legislation, voting rights legislation, affirmative action, and things of that nature. Conservatives did play a role in some good things that happened in our society. The left and Democrats have been hypocritical in certain respects. So if we're going to call balls and strikes, call balls and strikes. But we didn't do that. And we never do that when it comes to black conservatives. And don't use this as an opportunity to say, Stephen A., oh, he's a conservative. Well, damn it, I'm not yet, but I might be one day because I don't like the shit I've been seeing. But my voting record says otherwise. This is not about that. This is about us being grown-ups and being respectful of other people's positions and feelings and taking a moment to inhale and digest what the hell they're saying and deciphering what's true and what isn't true before we take a position. It's important that we do that. But we haven't been doing that. And then we wonder why black people in this country are the one disenfranchised community that exists in this country. You know why? Because we don't demand that you flatter us. Let me explain my position even further. If you go to buy a house, do you buy it without looking at it, walking through it, probing and investigating before you decide to make that investment? Do you do something like that with a car as well? Don't you do it with clothes? Don't you do it with any purchase that you get? But when it comes to politics, no such thing. So in other words, the vast majority of black Americans in this country, particularly since 1964, have basically said, the right, you know what? You ain't worth a damn. We don't like you. We don't trust you. So guess what? We ain't giving you our vote. We can't come together for shit under most circumstances. But suddenly with politics, 85, 90%, etc., oh, we gonna roll with the left. So what you've done is you've disenfranchised yourself. Why? Because the left know they have your vote and you're not going anywhere, and boom, you don't have to cater to African American needs. And on the right, you're like, we ain't getting their vote anyway, so let's pay attention to the constituent that's going to put us in office. Either way you slice it, this one gives you little representation because they're taking you for granted. This one gives you little representation and no representation because they know they don't have your support anyway. And why are the other communities successful? Because I don't give a damn whether it's Cuban, it's Dominican, it's Venezuelan, it's Guatemalan, it's Puerto Rican, it's Mexican. I don't care what it is. You're Asian. You're the Jewish community. An abundance of white folks in the United States of America. Somehow, some way, everybody successfully goes about the business of making sure they tell you, show us you're worthy of our vote before we give it to you. And as a result, you have to cater to them. We don't do that. We don't do that. And that's where we made a mistake. And even though black conservatives may not do that to the degree that we like, in the end, what they're doing is they're bucking the system. They're saying we're not going to just buy what you're selling. The other side might have more of what we want. And some of them did that in this election with Trump. And now the Democrats have to go back to the drawing board and figure out, how can you appeal to more African Americans and more folks in the Hispanic community and beyond to regain the luster that you thought you had, but you evidently lost? In other words, ladies and gentlemen, even when things look bad, there's light at the end of the rainbow. You know what that light is? Believe it or not, Donald Trump winning the election because it forced everybody to stand up and pay attention and recognize that you no longer get to engage in hate-mongering and fear-mongering to win an election. You actually got to go out there and win it. Black conservatives have something to do with that. So they ain't gonna get hatred from me. And they shouldn't from you or anybody in the African American community. Enough with the childishness. Let's grow up and use our mind and our brains far, far more than our emotions. Coming up, Kendrick Lamar will be taking a victory lap through Drake's hometown of Toronto this summer, and Billboard has named Beyonce the #1 pop star of the century. Did she deserve that honor over Taylor Swift? You'll hear my thoughts in a minute. Stephen A. Smith Show in the house. Holla at your boy. Okay, everybody, you know what time it is, right? It's time for Stephen A's Sports Picks. Do you all understand how great this time of the year is for me? We've got college football on Saturdays. We've got the NFL on Sundays and Mondays. And then we've got NBA games every damn day in between. It couldn't get any better. Or could it? Get ready because it's about to with PrizePicks, the largest fantasy sports platform in all the land. With PrizePicks, you choose 2, 3, or even up to 6 players for any of the sports you love to watch, and then you pick more or less on the projected stats for the game. Pick from the NBA, the NFL, the NHL, and everything in between. But the good news does not stop there, because now with PrizePicks Flex Friday promotion, you can opt in for protected play. That's right, every Friday, PrizePicks offers a protected play option for each of their members, so you win or your cash back. And get this, PrizePicks will give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. You don't need to win your lineup to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. All you have to do is play a $5 lineup of PrizePicks and you'll get $50 instantly. Now, let's look at my winning picks. For today, I'm picking for Thursday Night Football with the Detroit Lions facing the Green Bay Packers. First up, Lions signal caller Jared Goff, more or less than 243.5 passing yards. It's Jared Goff. He's an MVP candidate to the best team in football as far as I'm concerned. I'm going with more on this, okay? This ain't damn rocket science, all right? He's going to throw for more than 243.5 yards against the Green Bay Packers, who, by the way, are to be respected but they ain't the Lions. Next, Packers quarterback Jordan Love, more or less than 252.5 passing yards. Love's got some skills. Obviously, the Green Bay Packers made the right decision by moving on from Aaron Rodgers to him. He's turnover prone from time to time, a little bit inconsistent, but when he gets going, he can really, really get it going. And they're going to have to get something going in order to beat the Detroit Lions or even keep it close. I think he's going to throw for more than 252.5 yards. I'm going with more on this one. Next up, Lions wideout Amon-Ra St. Brown, more or less than 71.5 receiving yards. That's a stud right there. That's one of the best receivers in football right there. He's going up against the Green Bay Packers. I know they'd be respected, but damn it, this brother is something special. I'm definitely going for more with him than 71.5 yards. And last but not least, Packers wide receiver Jayden Reed, more or less than 48.5 receiving yards. It's 48.5 receiving yards. A game against the Detroit Lions, I sincerely doubt it's going to be some low-scoring defensive battle. I think both teams are going to put up points, which means you're going to need Jayden Reed to do more than 48.5 receiving yards. So I'm going to go with more on this one, too. Let's go through the list right now. You see all four of them, right? Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jordan Love, and Jayden Reed. More. Don't you love that word when it comes to PrizePicks? Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show. I'll get into some music news in a minute, but first let me address some news concerning Major League Baseball. Commissioner Rob Manfred has floated an idea for an MLB rule change that caught fire this week, polarizing baseball fans all over the place. It's called the Golden At-Bat. Once again, a manager gets to put his best batter at the plate regardless of where the batting order stands. So essentially, a pitcher facing the Dodgers could get Shohei Ohtani out in a high-level leverage situation. Then Dave Roberts plays his Golden At-Bat card, and you have to face Ohtani all over again. It's important to note that Manfred said this idea is in the conversation-only stage. I don't know whether it's a great idea or not. I like it. I like the fact that you have a commissioner with baseball forward thinking. I love the fact that he's willing to be innovative and take chances, because you see, what we have to remember is to call baseball on the carpet for always being the last at the party. It could be steroids, it could be amphetamines, it could be, domestic violence, it could be a whole bunch of things. Baseball has a history of usually being the last to act, and I'm not talking about the league, I'm talking about the players, as in the Players Association. Because unlike football and unlike basketball, baseball was notorious for being the most powerful Players Association in sports. We get that, and so because of that, they would hold out. They could be locked out. They'd go on strike. They do a whole bunch of things. And their level of intestinal resolve seemed to be at an elevated pace compared to basketball, football, and even hockey players. I get all of that. But because of that, it came attached with arrogance. And so when steroids was being brought about and all of this stuff, Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, ultimately you had to get the Game of Shadows with Barry Bonds and the excerpts in Sports Illustrated for the Game of Shadows and all of this other stuff, the book that is. That was the name of the book. All of this stuff has been going on, and it all came back to baseball in its arrogance was always of the mindset, we can police ourselves. Who the hell are y'all to tell us anything? And it was only as the numbers dissipated in terms of attendance, in terms of ratings, in terms of revenue, etc., did they take heed. And even then, they still were reluctant. And even now, they still are. So I applaud Rob Manfred for saying, listen, I'm not going to let this game sink. We're growing again. Some of the rule changes, shifting in the pitcher's mound, along with various other things, okay? Those things have assisted in more runs being scored, more home runs being hit, more stolen bases, all of that stuff. Athleticism being re-invited to the sport of baseball. Beautiful thing. But now he's trying to take it a step further. I'm not going to knock Rob Manfred for that. Why not try it? Think about it. We're watching the World Series, and Juan Soto comes up to bat. This brother knocks it out the park. But then guess what? Aaron Judge is going to strike out, and somebody else ain't going to do what they're supposed to do, okay? And there's no way you're going to get back to Juan Soto, because guess what? 8 other dudes got a bat until he comes back up the plate. This alleviates that concern, and you can bring him right back up to the plate and say, damn it, let him go again. I love it. It works. But guess what rule really, really needs to change? in order to facilitate all of these things for happening for the better, you got to get rid of the intentional walk. Ladies and gentlemen, somebody need to say it, so I'm going to say it. It's one of the weakest moves in sports. So let me get this straight. I'm a pitcher getting paid millions of dollars. My job is to go up there and get you out. But I get to look at you. My nephew Josh is up at the plate, and I get to look at him and say, I don't want to pitch to him. I don't want to have to get him out. I don't think I can do it. Let me walk him. What kind of shit is that? So you don't want to guard LeBron James? You want to guard Steph Curry? You don't want to guard any of these people? No, you got to deal with them. Baseball is the lone sport that enables you to completely, conspicuously, and unapologetically just circumvent competition. And then you wonder why you ain't as popular as football or basketball. We like competition. You a pitcher, I'm a hitter. Let's go. Could you imagine somebody walking up to Randy Johnson and telling him to intentionally walk someone? Somebody walking up to Roger Clemens and telling him to intentionally walk someone? Back in the days of Josh Gibson and Tom Seaver and those guys, intentionally walk. I'm going to be scared to face a batter. And then you wonder why it pisses people off. People ain't got time for that. We like competition. This suggestion, Conversations Only, by Rob Manfred, Commissioner of Major League Baseball, invites more competitive fervor. That is good for the sport. It doesn't hurt baseball. It only hurts the feelings of the old fogies who want to hold on to the 50s and the 60s and probably earlier than that, rather than acclimating themselves to the times that we're living in. Trust me on this one. Trust me. Let's get to the next subject before I get to Beyonce. I need to address the latest turn in the Kendrick versus Drake saga, as in Kendrick Lamar. The Toronto Blue Jays tweeted yesterday that Kendrick Lamar will be coming to the Six to perform at their home stadium. Some say the date of the concert, right before Father's Day, adds insult to injury for Drake, who has taken legal action against Not Like Us and now sees his rival likely to play to a sold-out stadium in his city. I understand that Drake's a bit sensitive in these times. He's in his feelings. And don't ask me how, but I know that he has seen this show. And I know that he has seen some of the things that I have said about this show, about him on this show. This is Drake. Y'all know this is Drake, right? I mean, I know y'all know it's him, right? We ain't seen him in a while. That's what I'm saying. You know that's him, right? That's Drake. To Drake, the artist extraordinaire, I did not say or echo a single negative thing about you. You're a phenomenal artist. You're big time. What I said was, fact, Not Like Us got you. I even pointed out how the line about accusing you of being a pedophile, ain't nobody paying attention to that. They just think it's lyrics, it's bars being dropped, and he got the better of you. What I'm saying is, you don't go the lawyer route in hip hop over something like this. You take it to the studio. You take it to the streets. That's all I said. I didn't sit up there and say, you can't answer Kendrick Lamar. I said, you better figure out a way to do so, meaning you have the capability, I think, to pull it off. That's all. It's not a crime for somebody to say, he got you. He got you on that one. Not Like Us was big time. You can get lawyers involved and talk about people engaging in bots and payola and all of this other stuff to buffer and uplift his numbers. But damn it, when you go to the streets, everybody know what Not Like Us is. And because they know what Not Like Us is, and who did it? With Russell Westbrook and DeMar DeRozan and LeBron James, your boy, all bopping and weaving to it, getting their groove onto it. Yo, bro, all we saying is go back in that studio. Ain't nothing but respect. You're great. You Drake. This is what you've done. Ain't nothing but respect. You had a concert, bro. I was featured at your concert. Introing you. I wouldn't allow no shit like that to happen if I didn't have respect and love for you. You had a Toronto Raptors game, I'm gonna roll right up to you. I always roll right up to you and see you. Nothing but respect. Nothing but respect. That's not the point. The point is, Kendrick got you with that song. Come back with one of yours. That's all I'm saying. Come back with yours. This is what you do. You come back with yours, or you say, damn, he got me. That's all. Wasn't nobody looking for fights in the streets. We damn sure wasn't looking for some trial in court or some lawfare, as they say. Wasn't looking for anything like that. We were looking for you to come back with your own. He got you, you got him, he got you. And you either keep going or you stop and concede, he got me. That's all. That's not negative. It's facts. He got you right now. That don't mean you can't get him later. And if you don't get him later, then say he got you. But if you're going to be silent, if you're going to ghost everybody, if you're going to go down under, if you're going to rely on lawyers, then it's not a good look, because that ain't what hip hop is. That's all. And if that's how you feel, then they right when they say, you're not like us. Not every industry ain't like that, and I got that part. That's all I'm saying. Come back with your own joint, or concede that he got you. Other industries, like I was saying, can go the route of lawyers. Not hip hop. Over a song. No. No, it doesn't look good. That's it. That's all I'm saying. If you find that disrespectful in any way, my apologies. That's not my intent. I did mean it when I said he got you on this song. You got to get him back, or you got to concede he got you, and take the lawyers out of it, because the longer you keep the lawyers in it, the worse you're going to look. The public made that statement when the numbers for Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us went up the minute your lawsuit was filed. Or not filed, but you were probing, looking into bringing lawyers into the equation to take legal action. The minute that happened, the numbers went up. That's why. Why is that? Because the streets are telling you, though, bro, we don't roll like that. We don't roll like that. Not in hip hop. Not in hip hop. Staying in the world of music, where Billboard has named Beyonce the greatest pop star of the 21st century, you can see the top 10 right here. And some took issue with Beyonce getting the top spot over Taylor Swift. I have to ask this question first to those who had a problem with Beyonce having the top spot. What drugs have you been on? Are you smoking crack? Heroin? You're alcoholic? You overdosed on Ozempic or some shit? What the hell could you possibly have a problem with Beyonce being number one in anybody's category? She's Beyonce. She's off the chain. We know. She looks the part. She sounds the part. She acts the part. She's sensational. What are you talking about? Number one, greatest pop stars of the 21st century, okay? I'm not talking about hip hop and R&B. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about somebody whose range extends far beyond that. That's Beyonce. I don't care what anybody say. That's Beyonce. Why do I got Taylor Swift at number two? Because when you got the Eras Tour that she just had, when you've made over $7, $8, $10 billion, that's all-time numbers right there. That one tour alone, you got to put a top two. Because ain't nobody making no damn money like that. This Taylor Swift we talking about here. And I went to not one but two of her concerts. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what a good time I had. I was shocked. Okay, you're looking at Rihanna. Come on now. Now, This is not my list. This is Billboard's list. They got Drake up there. Is Drake pop? Is he? I mean, I guess, but I guess because I was so caught up in Kendrick Lamar, I'm thinking hip hop. But you want to put him up there, that's fine. Lady Gaga, Britney Spears, Kanye West. I don't consider him pop. I consider him hip hop. That's just me. Okay? Justin Bieber, all right. Ariana Grande. Adele, of course. Rich Paul, that's right. You see, congratulations on that, my brother. Congratulations, my brother. You, excellent decision making. But that's their list. Here's mine. Pop, again. This has nothing to do with hip hop and R&B. Nothing. This is just pop, which I am not an expert on, but I've listened to enough of it to tell you what I like. Number 5 on the list, give it to me, please. Bam! Lady Gaga. I like Lady Gaga. By the way, I like her acting skills, too. I forgot the name of the movie she was in with Bradley Cooper, but it was a good one. And she's versatile. She's talented. Her music is good. You can dance to it. I give her a lot of props. And she's a Renaissance woman of some sorts. I mean, I like Lady Gaga a lot. I'm a fan. So I had to put her as my top 5 right there, right? Get her off the screen right here, because I got to go to number 4. Give it to me right now. Bam! I just told you Taylor Swift. Now, I said top 2 all time and stuff like that. But on this list, this is my list, I have as number 4 because I never really listened to her music until the Eras Tour came out. And I love the concept, but it didn't mean I went back and listened to every damn song. So I'm not like that. I know she's talented. I know she's wonderful. I know she's got the younger generation on lock. All these little girls crying like they're looking at Michael Jackson. I mean, I ain't seen somebody like crying like that since Michael Jackson. So I got to give love where it's due. Taylor Swift is no joke. Okay, she is special, and she deserves to be top 5 because she's accomplished things nobody has ever accomplished in the industry. So I got to give her love and support right now. She's not my top 3, though. I'm gonna give you top 3 in there. Bam, Rihanna. Now, you know, Rihanna's special. And I remember when I got in some trouble because everybody was talking about Blue Navy was gonna come my way, and I was like, what the fuck is that? I had no idea. My nephew and my nieces and them had to tell me. I know, I'm like, who told her the Blue Navy come? Who's nuts, people coming after me? Who's Blue Navy? Is that what it is, Blue Navy? I'm like, who are these people? You know, I said, damn it, I was saying Navy Blue. I didn't know who the hell these people were talking about, to show you how much I knew. But Rihanna is phenomenal. And her music speaks for herself, for itself. And by the way, she's in that billionaires category because she got a lot of money because of her overwhelming success, and we got to give her love too. She's just not top 2 for me right now. Give it to me. This brother right here and his crew, Bruno Mars. Do you know I didn't know a damn thing about Bruno Mars until he performed at the Super Bowl? I believe it was Denver, Seattle, at Giant Stadium, and Bruno Mars was the halftime entertainment. And when I saw him, I saw that's the closest thing I've seen to Michael Jackson. That's how bad that brother was. Bad meaning bad, not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good, okay? That brother, okay? 24 Magic, Chunky, the whole 9. I mean, the brother's special. And to me, it's not just your music. I'm thinking about you performing, okay? When I think about performance, I think about Chris Brown and stuff like that, who I think is probably the greatest performer on the planet at this particular moment in time. But I don't think of him as being a pop star, okay? Nevertheless, that's what I am with Bruno Mars. Again, I'm not an aficionado. My man Tank comes in here to do that for me. That's not my lane. I'm just telling you what my preference is right now. If Tank want to correct me, he's welcome to come back on and correct me with his top 5. I should have invited him today just to get that list, but I'll get at him another time. You know who I'm going with number 1. I already told you. That's what me and Billboard has in common. Beyonce is the greatest artist, I think, overall. I think of the century. Aretha Franklin could blow, Queen of Soul. Whitney Houston was something special. Mary J. Blige, I got it. You know, Gladys Knight and the Pips, neither one of us wants to be the first to say goodbye. That's old school right there. You see what I'm saying? I mean, everywhere you turn. I mean, you had phenomenal art singers. Then you had people like MC Hammer and others who could perform. But rarely could they do both and look the part too. It's one thing to be a star. It's another thing entirely to look like one. Let me tell y'all a little secret. Jay-Z's my dog, that's my man, I love him to death. And because I know him, my man OG Juan and the crew, my brothers, I had the pleasure of meeting this woman one day. She's one of the rare people in the world who looks better in person than even the damn airbrushed photos some people might attach to them sometimes. She looks better in person than I've seen her look when she's being photoed. I shit you not, excuse my language. It is not an exaggeration. She is that beautiful. And guess what else? Nothing compared to her personality. Sweetest people in the world. One of the sweetest people in the world. So, her looks in person eclipse her looks from photos, and her personality eclipses her looks. And that's not even getting into her performance. Beyonce is number one by a damn mile. That's right, I said it. Coming up, an OnlyFans model says she made over $43 million in the last year, including a whopping $4.7 million from one man. And she's a virgin? A virgin. Virgin. That, plus I respond to your tweets next, right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Virgin. I want to take a second to make sure you all know that with the NFL in full swing and games being played Thursday night, Sunday night, even Monday night, I could not be more excited. But what's even more exciting is that PrizePicks wants to help you cash in on all those big-time games. You see, PrizePicks is a daily fantasy app where you can pick two or more of your favorite players, and then you simply select more or less on the projected stats for the game. Pick a player's passing yards, rushing yards, or total touchdowns. The list is endless. And the good news just keeps coming, because with PrizePicks, you can choose from any sport you love to watch. That's basketball, that's baseball, football, hockey, soccer, even MMA, all in the same entry. And now with PrizePicks Live Squares option, you'll be able to place mid-game picks on full game projections. Just look for a red light indicator on your squares in the app during live games and pick a player's game projection after their game has started. And if you sign up now with code SAS, PrizePicks will give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. You don't need to win your lineup to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. All you have to do is play a $5 lineup on PrizePicks and you'll get $50 instantly. Pick more, pick less. It's really that easy. Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show. Before I get on out of here today, I need to get into this OnlyFans story that's been percolating all over social media, okay? The name is Sophie Rain, a content creator on OnlyFans. She's made waves recently when she revealed she's made an astonishing $43 million in earnings over the past year. When the validity of her claims were questioned, she began showing her receipts with monthly earnings, including a whopping $4.7 million from one man who goes by the name Charlie, Charley. To put the total earnings in perspective, Sophie Rain made more money on OnlyFans than many of the NBA's biggest stars. Ladies and gentlemen, look at this list right here. Anthony Davis, Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Anthony Edwards. Look at the money that they're making. 42 million for Anthony Edwards, right? In fact, this platform has grown so much that in 2023, OnlyFans content creators earned a total of $6.6 billion, which exceeds the total of salaries earned by the entire National Basketball Association, which was at $4.9 billion, according to Basketball Forever. Ms. Rain says she is a devout Christian and a virgin. So Sophie made $43 million and almost $5 million from Charlie. I guess he might be the horniest man in America, huh? I mean, let's take Sophie at her word. There's no reason to call her a liar or anything. She says she's a virgin. She says she hasn't been with a man. She says she hasn't been doing anything, okay? And despite that, the man gave her damn near $5 million. That's new meaning to pervert for him. I mean, what else can he be described as? Why are you paying a girl on OnlyFans nearly $5 million to look at her feet? And see, I bring stuff like that up because, listen, I ain't never been on OnlyFans, never looked at it, never saw it, I mean, this is the first I'm seeing of her, okay? And this is what's blowing me away. It's like, I'm like, what is this? Is this a porn site? They say, no, not really. Some people can do that. Others just model swimsuits. Some people actually model their feet. They're not doing anything. So it is entirely possible that Sophie Rain is absolutely positively telling the truth. We can't sit up there and cast any aspersions on her like she's done something. If a man want to give her money to show, I don't know why, but he's not getting anything from her, physically that is, and he's still giving her $4.7 million, that man has to be the horniest man in America, assuming he's from America. As for OnlyFans, I will say the scary part about this is that will encourage people desperate for a quick buck to do anything that they think will generate money. YouTube is bad enough where you got people all over the place saying and doing whatever just to get attention, to create clickbait and stuff like that. But now with OnlyFans, you know, who knows what that's gonna create? Because if she's telling the truth, and there's no reason to believe she's not to, and she didn't do anything, she's still a virgin, she didn't do anything physical to get this kind of money, you think there ain't gonna be people out there that says, well, what if I was willing to do something physical? What if I was willing to do porn? What if I was willing to do soft porn? What if I was willing to do whatever? Opens the floodgates. But it's a story. It's newsworthy. That's why I brought it up. Let me get to the tweets before I get on out of here, okay? Because I'm getting ready to get on out of here, so I want to do these tweets right now. So let's get to it, guys. At Kanapali Raider, Kaanapali Raider, right? Stephen A. Smith. Should the Raiders sign up for the package deal of Sanders and Sons? I wouldn't turn it down. If you're the Las Vegas Raiders and you have an opportunity to get Shedeur Sanders and primetime Deion Sanders, you talk about being box office, you talk about being a magnet for notoriety and publicity and all of that other stuff, generating and elevating your brand, generating interest and elevating the cachet of your brand. Think about that. Raider Nation being coached by primetime Deion Sanders. He could turn that into damn near a cult following. I certainly wouldn't dismiss that possibility, especially if you got an opportunity to get Shedeur Sanders as well. Now, I don't know if he wants to coach his son in the National Football League. That remains to be seen, but I'm telling you, if the Raiders can do that, and that's no knock against Antonio Pierce, not trying to get him fired or anything like that, but primetime is box office. He's instant money. He pays for himself. And if that opportunity presents itself, it's not something I would summarily dismiss if I were him. That's just where I'm coming at with it, me personally. Next tweet, show me what you got. At Daniel Sola 36 writes, Stephen A. Smith, what's something your parents did when you were a kid that you swore you'd never do, but now find yourself doing? It's quite embarrassing, but I admit it. Occasionally I'll pass gas. I'll fart in the presence of my family members, friends, and loved ones. Now everybody passes gas. You're eating stuff and I don't give a damn if it's fruit, if it's veggies, if it's everything in between, you're gonna fart, you're gonna pass gas. Anybody who's telling you otherwise is a lying ass. You're gonna pass gas, you're gonna fart. But you're supposed to do it as, away from people, and you're supposed to do it quietly and not noticeably. And me, there are times if people are getting on my nerves and I just want to be gross, I will fart right in front of family and loved ones. Yes, I will. Because my mom and daddy used to do it to each other. When they got mad, I once saw, they both gone, God rest their souls. But I remember one time my mother and father got mad at each other, and my father got mad at my mom, and he was farting at her, and my mother was so disgusted with him, she farted right back. And the next thing you know, I was like in shock. I couldn't believe it. I was appalled. It's the only time in my life I ever saw my mother do that. But I saw it, and it never left me. My nephew's here. Yeah, your grandma and grandpa did that. It's true. It's true. Next tweet, let's go. At Batfleck Movie, right? Stephen A. Smith, if you were being mugged in an alley, which Batman would you want to save you? Ben Affleck or Christian Bale? For me, a Christian Bale. I love Ben Affleck. I'm a fan of his. I'm a fan of most of the stuff that he did. I'm a huge fan of the movie The Accountant. I loved that movie. I love the movie The Town, along with various other things that Ben Affleck has done. Mad love and respect and props to him. But I think Christian Bale was a much better Batman. The Batman with Ben Affleck did not move me at all. The Batman, Dark Knight, with Christian Bale, yeah, that dude. That's an easy one for me. At West_N_ship. Stephen A. Smith, dear Stephen A., will we ever find a feasible way to reconcile a theory of quantum mechanics with the principle of general relativity? Or do you believe them to be mutually exclusive ideas? I don't have the slightest damn idea what you're talking about. I ain't gonna front. I'm not dumb, but ain't nothing brilliant about me. I just work hard. Quantum mechanics or general relativity? Nah, I don't know nothing about that. I can't help you. I'm sorry. Last tweet. At Cobb Knows, COBKNOWS, Stephen A. Smith. Do you have an aura? I don't know how to answer that question. I got a vibe. I got style. I don't think I'm bad looking, you know. Ladies look at me sometimes and look twice or more. I got flavor. I got skills. I'm accomplished. God has blessed me to be successful. I have a core decency about me. I'm not evil. I can be mean at times if you get on my last nerves, but I'm not evil. I don't wish harm upon other people, and I don't plot to do harm to other people. So ultimately, it comes down to, am I suave? You know, when you say an aura, like, you know, I'm thinking Rick James. You know what I'm saying? Dave Chappelle, Rick James, give it to me, baby. You know what I'm saying? My aura is orange. It's aura. I seen it. It was orange, like Charlie Murphy said. I don't think I got that kind of aura about me, but I do think I have a vibe. And you know what kind of vibe I have? The kind of vibe that says, I would never have to give $4.7 million to anybody, any woman that I haven't been with. I don't even have to give that much to anybody I have been with. That kind of vibe. That's it for this edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show. I'm about to get on out of here. I got to leave the country for a few days. I'll still be with you, bringing you my continued programming, so don't lose sight of that. I'll be back with you on Friday and next Monday and next Wednesday. But I'm leaving the country for a few days, so got to get on out of here. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your week, the next few days. Be blessed. Know that the Lord is always looking out for you. Be good in your spirit. Look forward to enjoying the holiday season. Be safe. Be thoughtful. Attach yourself to your loved ones. Until next time, I'm signing off. Peace and love, everybody.